you're either going to make it or be the funniest homeless person.
He learned comedy not from performing, but by filling 3 notebooks with jokes no one ever heard.
It was just like a real bad like year where I was just like alone. I didn't know anyone. I pretty much like put myself in a spot where I had no other option but to like figure it out. The only thing that keeps you going is like some notes.
Yeah.
You know, in your pocket. Like that's it.
Welcome back to the BILF Pod, where authenticity trumps authority. Today's guest is unapologetically just himself. In fact, he's unapologetic about going viral. So today's guest is Mr. Sean Madden. Welcome. Woo!
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I really just have to talk about our relationship. Well, I guess we have a new relationship and how we met. I feel like it's kind of like a love story.
Yeah, I feel like you met the alter ego first.
I feel like I did. So I got to tell you guys how I met Sean. So I don't know if you guys know this, I do a Zoom call 3 days a week. And this is where I get to hire people that are interested in selling health insurance. Well, little did I know that my husband went and contacted Sean behind my back, and Sean showed up on my call as the Florida man. Never thought twice about it, which was even stranger because he's on the call. He has a hat with long hair. And at the end of the call, I do a Q&A where I just kind of let an open forum where people can ask me questions if I didn't answer anything along the way. So Sean is on there, but not as Sean, but as Don, right? Don? You were
Don Drexler.
Don Drexler. And the first question he asked me, this is how, because I always say, hey, does anybody have any questions? First thing he asked me is, does he need to get drug tested? And that's kind of how our relationship started. Now, little did I know at the end, he was on there to prank me. I didn't know this, and my husband was looking for some good content, but he definitely did a great job. He is hilarious. So it is a pleasure to have you. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. It was so funny to see the message, especially when he was like, "Oh, it's my wife," and I'm like, "You're really gonna do this?" But yeah, it was so fun, and I love when it's a group interview.
Yeah,
because then you can just see. I haven't even watched it back completely, but it's so funny to see everybody's reactions.
We've watched it. It's very funny. It's hilarious. I think you got me 8 applicants from that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? It does actually. I've had people message me saying like, "Thank you for bombing the interview because it made me look that much better."
Oh, that's great.
Especially when it's like the interviewer and then just one other candidate versus Florida man.
Yeah.
They're going to get that job.
That's hilarious.
Most of the time.
Well, let's talk about, so we'll come back to this whole story. So
Okay.
what I'm really interested in, because it's a very unique job venture that you're on, or career venture. So you do comedy. Yes,
Yep.
you do comedy.
Yeah,
That's like your big thing, is stand up. Now, how did you start bombing online interviews? That's like a very, it's very niche.
During 2020, I moved back to Florida. I was in LA at the time, and that whole city, was shut down. Moved back to Florida. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, is stand-up even going to be a thing anymore? All the money was kind of tight. I was like, maybe I'll just get, a remote job so I could keep like maneuvering around the country and figure out where I can go get shows or, set up the podcast again. And I started doing all these Zoom interviews for remote work. And there's like 20, 30, 40 people in some of these. And a lot of them were like, we're only hiring one person at the time. And so usually I'm pretty good at getting jobs, but I was doing, not even kidding, like 10 Zoom interviews a day and just not hearing anything back. Not even like a second round. And I'm like, are these even like real things, or are they just, how some companies, they have to like say we're hiring just to like hit a quota, or some kind of like government thing. Like, oh, we're interviewing this amount of people on the books. And I'm like, well, if you're not going to hire me, let's see if you hire Florida man. And once I started doing the character on Zoom interviews, then I started getting calls back, and I was like, you guys like this guy more than me? He's out of control, wearing sunglasses and everything. So the first video I did, I felt weird doing it, but I was like angry at the time. So I was like doing it out of spite.
Yeah.
And just for the love of it, because it wasn't like, no one was paying me to do them or anything.
Right.
And the first one got like 1 million views on Facebook. And I was like, oh, there's something here because people love the raw reactions, you know, like the live interaction. That's why crowd work now is so popular. People
Yeah.
just want to see like a spectacle.
They do. They wouldn't even get off my Zoom call. They were just sitting on there waiting for you to say something crazy, which was insane. They just stood, like they were sitting on there. I probably was on there 15 minutes and I'm like, all right, guys, any other questions? And nobody was raising their hand. They were just sitting there waiting for you to say something insane.
Oh, I can't wait to finish that video. It was so fun. And it is true. Like, I can't imagine how many people you see. Like, we're talking about it now. This will probably be out when that interview drops. So everybody go check that out. But just to see people's reaction, the one guy with the fur coat.
That was hilarious.
The mink and the giant watch. It's so funny. People that interview in their cars. I've done an interview in bed. And
I saw a few on your page.
And they still acted like it was fine. I did an interview in a pool. Like I was swimming with the laptop like at the edge. And they're like, wow, nice pool. Like they just doesn't even like phase them.
That's so funny. Now, did you always kind of know that you wanted to go and be a comic or do something like to make people laugh?
Not really. I started out in music. Like it was like sports and then music. And then, you know, I went into sales.
Yeah.
And I was doing a sales job. And yeah, I was living in California at the time. And I remember like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and my birthday, I didn't come back to Florida to see family. I just couldn't afford it at the time. And it was just like a real bad like year where I was just like alone. I didn't know anyone out there in like Silicon Valley. And it was just like not like a dark time. And I just watched like every single comedy special I could. YouTube. I was listening to like how to do stand-up, how to get into it. Basically studied like the entire game for like that year. I was writing like horrible jokes. Like I filled up like 3 notebooks with just garbage. So I feel like I got a lot of the bombing out of the way. Most people bomb like their first few years. I feel like I got all the bombing out on paper. And then I saw a couple comics that were like doing really big. And I was like, man, my friends are funnier than these people. Like I could do this. And I don't know if it was like stupidity or just like going for it. But I moved back to Florida for like 6 months. That's what I was saying. I actually have been in this building before because when I moved back, I got a job in this building and it was a nightmare. It was like selling makeup business to business. Like you walk into Target and like try and sell the employees makeup and they're like, we have it here.
Oh no.
Like a disaster company.
That does not sound good.
Yeah, I lasted like 2 weeks before I'm like, what is this? And then I just moved to New York. I had $400 and an old Saturn. And I just drove through Manhattan and like had no idea what I was doing. Got a hotel for 2 weeks through this company that was like, oh, we'll pay you to like relocate. And I just figured it out. But I was like, you're either going to make it or be the funniest homeless person in New York.
That's hilarious. So that is so funny. So did you do stand up in New York?
Yeah, that's where I started. You know, I lived there for like 2 months before I got on stage. I was just like scared. And then my roommate was like, well, why'd you move here then if you're not going to go and actually do it? So then I started hitting 1 mic a day. And then I was like, oh, you can do 2 mics a day. And then I was like, oh, you can do 8 a day. So I started doing like 8 to 10 open mics a day. Some started at noon and then some ended at like 2, 3 a.m. But that just became like the day to day. I started bartending 3 days a week and that kind of floated the whole operation. And then you just get your chops, as they say, get the reps in, get comfortable on stage. And then I got an opportunity in LA. So I moved out there and was doing kind of the same thing, you know, started like winning competitions, getting passed at certain clubs, meeting the right people. And then that all just came to a screeching halt in 2020. And
During
then
COVID.
Yeah, and then that's when I moved back, started the Florida Man character just because everything was digital. And then met a few good people, met Jari, Cam, like guys like David Jolly, and now Florida's winning. everybody's doing their thing. So
Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
funny people here.
it's awesome. Miguel.
Yeah, Miguel. Yeah,
Shout out
to
Miguel Cologne.
Yeah, there. Don't be mad at me, Miguel. Don't be mad. So does it come from a place? I always want to know, like, when you go into comedy, are you like there for the people because you genuinely want to make people laugh? Or does it come from like a dark, I know you were talking a little bit about a dark place inside. So which, is it a combination of the two or?
Originally, it was how I was feeling. I was like, how stand-up got me out of like my situation and how like I just couldn't get enough of it.
Right.
I was like, I need to watch another special, another clip, another monologue. And it just kind of made me feel like it just gets you through the day,
Right.
like that laugh. And I go, I want to be the person that provides that for somebody else. And that was kind of like the foundation of it. And then, you know, like after 3 years, 4 years, it does get to a point where it's like, you're like, oh, I got to get rid of my day job. I got to like, so it becomes like a selfish thing of like, the louder the audience is, the more opportunities I'll get.
Right.
So it becomes like this like formula of like, how could I draw the laughter out, as much laughter as I can? But within the last few years, I've went back to like, let's give the people a show. Like a lot of people there, I keep in mind, they're leaving their house. That's huge in itself. They're finding parking. They're buying tickets. They're buying drinks. Some are getting babysitters.
Yeah.
So if I don't give them a good show, why would they come back to see you?
Yeah.
Why would, you know what I mean? So I keep in, like, before I go on, I always kind of like replay that in my head. Like, these people are here to have a good time. Give them a show.
I love
Like,
that.
love on the
It's very
people.
humble.
Yeah, you got to love on the people because that's what you're doing it for anyway,
Yeah.
you know?
So you must have a real love for people too.
Individually. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a whole. No, yeah. I mean, you got to, I want people to have a good time. You know, I feel like that's why you get into stand up too, because I don't know, like I had issues with like family growing up and I always felt like a burden, like getting kicked out of the house. I had like a horrible stepmom and it's this point of like, oh, am I a burden? Like,
Right.
am I overstaying my welcome? But with stand up, it's like, I know if the whole room's laughing, I'm in the right place.
Now, when you do your stand-up, do you talk about your childhood at all and like make light of it, or that's something that you just kind of keep off limits?
It's getting to the point where I feel comfortable starting to like talk about like real, you know, like the origin story of everything.
Right.
But right now it's just like fun, like funny stories or like things that have happened. I try and stay away from like topical stuff.
Yeah.
Try to keep it original because nowadays it's like how fast the internet is. If something happens, everybody's on it.
Yeah.
Like Maduro gets arrested, everyone's like, "Oh, did you see the Nike tech suit?" Like every comic is already, they're like piranhas, just going to the next thing. But if you keep it original and you know, stay true to yourself, no one can take that from you.
Let me ask you a question. I'm sure you definitely had some like negative feedback or like where you walked on stage and it was like you bombed it. How did you?
Oh yeah.
How did you overcome that? And like, why did you want to go back? I don't know if I could handle that.
So my first open mic went well, so that kind of was like encouraging.
Right.
My first show 3 months after my first mic went well, so I feel like if I bombed that, I would have kind of had a "what am I doing" moment.
Yeah.
But my first like bomb wasn't until like 2 years in.
Ooh.
So I was already kind of too deep in the game. Plus, I already moved to New York, so I had nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
So I started stand up in New York. Like the first time I ever went on stage was in New York City. So I pretty much like put myself in a spot where I had no other option but to like figure it out.
Right.
So that definitely helps. I read a book, I think it was The Art of War, The War of Art. And it was like Death Valley. Like a lot of generals will put their men in a canyon to where they couldn't retreat. Yeah, I mean, I already kind of trapped myself in New York City, so there was no giving up or quitting. And then I read a book like the Art of War and how generals will put their men like in a situation where they can't retreat. Like they'll have their back against like a canyon or a mountain, and so they like actually fight twice as hard to like win the battle. As corny as it sounds, not comparing that
It's true.
to war, but I'm like, I like did that to myself without knowing, just by like moving to a city with no connections. So
I feel like you have to fail though. You can't.
for sure.
You cannot just succeed.
For
And you
sure.
have to fail a little bit.
It's the only way to get good.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of the worst bombs. I mean, I've probably had 3 real memorable ones where like sometimes you're in the shower and you just think about it. You know, those shower thoughts.
Yes.
Where you're just like, you try to burn yourself to forget about it. But it was I did this competition. It was like New York's funniest. And I made it all the way to the top 10 and then just had the worst set of my life.
And that was it. You bombed it.
Just the worst set. I'm talking like 300 people just blinking at you.
And nothing, no reaction.
Just nothing. There was one black family in the back that were just really enjoying my demise. And like at the time I was like, yeah, I'm killing for them. But then I realized like, no, they were just having such a good time.
Stop.
Watching it just be like,
that's horrible. Have you ever said anything on stage that was like controversial that could have ultimately turned like, or maybe it did?
All the time. All the time. You're going to have that. There's always one. I mean, even if like you get off stage and you think, oh my gosh, everybody loved the show, there's always one person
that gets offended. Now, do you pick on people? I think that's kind of funny.
I try and just do my act. My goal ultimately is like theaters. So if I could just do theaters, you can't really see the crowd.
Oh yeah.
But I've done theaters before and I just love that. I just love that feel. That's like true stand-up. Like it's just your act and it's based off that and nothing more. But last night, down in Vero, I did a lot of crowd work just because the room was hot and there was this drunk lady and she was like leaning against the wall, not even in her seat. And we were just all messing with her and the crowd loves it. But yeah, sometimes you got to go into the crowd and have a good time, but I don't force it. I'm not like, what do you guys do for a living?
Yeah.
You know, that's not my style. If it happens, it happens. If not, we got the material.
Now you have like the same act all the time or is there like your go-to or how does that work?
Yeah. So I have like staple material, I guess I would say, like stuff I've had for a couple years that's like evolved. But it's constantly changing, you know, especially because you get bored of it.
Yeah.
Like you're up there doing, I don't know how musicians do a world tour and do the same 10 songs over and over, but you got to do what works and you just got to switch it up. Like sometimes I'll try to mess the order, like switch the order. And then if it doesn't go well, you're like, just stick to what it is. But it becomes like sales because you know it word for word.
Yes.
And you could do it. You could say it as fast, but the art is people seeing it as if you're saying it off the top of your head.
Yeah.
So you can't sound robotic. It's just got to be natural. Sometimes the joke will come out different because it's just, you're not word for word with it. Like as soon as you're scripted,
then it just
you die a slow death.
Yeah,
and I feel like the audience can tell.
Yeah, you could tell. You can die. Like the funniest I think is when you're off the cuff.
Yep.
And you're like finding things in the crowd or, you know, you're just you're feeling out the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can feel the vibe, that makes it seem like a little bit more authentic and it's funny.
Yep.
That I think is the funniest.
Yeah, the off the cuff, because they can tell right away. And I started incorporating the crowd into the material. So like, I already know, it's like a sales pitch. Like I already know where this is going, but I'm going to ask you a question just to like invite you into the material. And I feel like that takes years to even realize that you're doing that.
That's a skill.
Yeah.
You can do sales. That is definitely like you're kind of narrating the whole thing. You can see it before it happens. Yeah.
Right.
That definitely correlates well with sales.
Yeah. If you can just bring the audience in. And that's why I like working with Miguel because he does, I don't know how many years he has on me as far as like stand up.
Miguel is hilarious.
Yeah. He murders rooms, but he's got like, I don't know, 7 to 10 years on me, like in comedic age. And so like, I'll watch him and I try to you try and pick up on the details.
How does that like coincide? You know, we all have good days and bad days. So if you're going through something, how are you able to get on that stage?
I think that's the only thing that helps is like, you have to get on stage. Like I've had friends where, you know, someone in their immediate family dies and that night they have a show, but you're not thinking about that when you're on stage.
Yeah.
So it's like therapeutic in a way. Like time doesn't exist when you're on stage until you get the light and you're like, oh, I've been up here
a
half hour or whatever. But
would you say it's more of like a compartmentalized, like that's how you do it? You kind of just put it to the side, you perform and then deal with it later?
yeah, you have really no choice.
Yeah.
You know, it's like calling out of work. You can't.
Well, you have to perform. I mean, it's
Right.
the same thing here.
The show must go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing when we walk in here, we tell all the agents, you know, here's the deal. When you're here at work, you have to compartmentalize. It's a hard thing, but you're here to work and everything else kind of has to stay over there because it's all about your mental state.
Mhm.
I feel like kind of correlates, you know, 80% of sales is mind frame.
100%.
And if you're not, you know, if you're not in the game, you're not going to perform. So I feel
Right.
like now that what you're saying, I feel like comedy is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, and it's easy too when it's all you have. There's some points where you're like, everything in your life is just hell,
Yeah.
but you're like, at least I have 10 minutes of good material.
I
And that's
love
the
that.
only thing that keeps you going is like some notes,
Yeah.
you know, in your
Something that
pocket.
keeps you going.
Like that's it.
Now, where does this like whole Florida man? I know you said like you were getting frustrated, but was this like your alter ego who you always kind of, were you like a timid, I feel like, I don't know, I could be wrong. Were you kind of like a timid, shy kid and then you always had kind of an alter ego? Or how did this whole character come about?
I have a friend who called me and he's like, I think Sean Madden is the character and you're actually Florida man. But no, I don't know if I was like a timid, shy kid. I definitely could be quiet at times around like certain people. But yeah, stand up will definitely make you into a completely different person.
Right.
I think sales definitely helped. But as far as the Florida man character, that was just something stupid I ordered online. Like the wig and the hat, just out of boredom. And I was in LA, so it wasn't weird. Like that's the other thing too, is everyone's trying to always avoid this cringe, but it's like you're gonna be cringe to someone, you know, especially yourself. So
I wanna touch on that for 1 second. I think a lot of people are always scared of what other people think about them.
it's huge.
Right. I think that's a big thing. I mean, even me, I always say I'm like unapologetically me, but there are, even with doing social media, there's like things that I just won't do because I feel like it's like kind of cringy.
Yeah.
So how do you overcome just being like, all right, you know, fuck it. This is who I am. You can take it or leave it.
Having nothing to lose definitely gets rid of that. But secondly, just understanding like people are gonna hate you regardless.
Yeah.
Like regardless. So you might as well do what you want to do anyway. And then the fact that you have such limited time in this reality,
Yeah.
that also helps. Like I don't want to be the old guy that's like, oh, I could have done this, could have
Yeah.
done that.
All the
So that always
regrets.
helps. Like, and then just trying different stuff. Like you can really just be anything you want.
Right.
Like anything. And
Like
no
the
one
Florida
cares.
man.
Yeah. In 14 days, like look at the news cycle. It's probably less now. It used to be 14 days. People forget about
They
a
don't
story.
care. I would say after. I honestly always say 24 hours, nobody really cares.
Yeah. If they could blast you all over the news right now and be like, this is the worst, most terrible person ever. In 4 days,
Nobody cares.
you're back at Publix buying a, you know.
Yeah. I
It
try to
doesn't
I try to
matter.
convey this message to my daughter too. Like even though I struggle with it, the reality is that you're not that important that people are going to be fixated on you forever.
Yep.
So like you can bomb or do something stupid and I always say 24 hours, nobody cares. Or I'm like,
Mhm.
nobody knows. That's my
Yeah.
biggest thing. I'm like, nobody knows and nobody cares.
Nobody
They really
knows.
don't. They've moved on to the next.
And the thing that you're insecure about, like, let's just say, like, if someone's like, oh, I have a big nose. It's like no one even noticed that until
Till you
they
said
realized
it.
you said it. Or, I mean, there's so many examples. Like, look, I'm walking around in Python boots right now. This isn't even, I would never have bought these until this year. I'm just like, just try different stuff.
I love that.
Just try
I
it.
really love your message, especially the unapologetically you and you're okay. But I think that comes from that takes a lot. It took me a long time to finally say, this is who I am. I may not be your cup of tea, but take it or
Yeah.
leave it. Like, you know, whatever. This is who I am. That's okay.
It takes years, I feel like, and you can still battle with it. Like, to be honest, I don't even like when there's one camera on me and there's 3 right now. So like, I'm
You
trying to
don't?
forget
Yeah.
that they're there, but that's just, you know, that's just like an example. And hopefully like the stuff that I say or go through can ultimately help somebody else, because once you break through that barrier of not caring what people think about you, you almost beat yourself up because you're like, oh my God, I probably could have done so much more if I got out of my own way.
Yeah. It's
Like
so
years
true.
ago.
It's so true. And we get so hung up, I think, just because of society in general. They put these like social norms, but the reality is we're living in 2026 and I think anything kind of goes. Even your Python boots, they go with your belt. No, I love it. I think first of all, it's like really well put together. You look good with the belt and the shoes. But you know, so many people are afraid to just be who they are because they're so worried about what everybody else is thinking. And the reality is nobody really gives a shit. Honestly.
No one cares. No one is even focused on you. They're so focused on themselves.
Yeah.
So it's like while you're worried about what other people think, they're sitting right next to you going like, well, I hope he doesn't notice my giant forehead. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
nobody really cares.
Everyone's on their own.
I know. My girlfriend was asking me the other day. She's like, do you think I need Botox? She's like, my nose is big and they have like this liquid Botox or liquid filler that makes it smaller. I'm like, I never even noticed until you said that.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about here?
I know.
What's going on? So what would you say to somebody that is kind of struggling right now with, you know, wanting to pursue their creative career and just, you know, just kind of stuck in that rut? What would you say? What advice would you give?
Like what do you have to lose ultimately?
Yeah.
Ultimately, what do you have to lose?
It's true.
That's really what it comes down to. And then how bad do you want to do it? Like if you're letting that hold you back, you don't really want to do it.
Yeah. It's so true. It's absolutely true. And then if anybody wants to find you, where would they find you?
It's at I'm Sean Madden. I am SeanMadden on all platforms, YouTube, Instagram. All the full videos are on YouTube, and then I just clip up for Instagram. But yeah, it was go check it out. We're constantly evolving, trying new stuff. And
what's your next big move? What's next big thing for you?
So in February 21st, we have the Florida Man Games.
Ooh.
It's like the Redneck Olympics.
I love that.
I got invited to the one last year in March. This year I'm actually competing. So come say what's up. We'll have the booth out there. Miguel actually did. He hosted the last year's.
At the Sausage Castle?
No, at the I love that place. It's a wild time out there. I just call it the castle now because as soon as you say sausage, people get.
I might or might not have been there.
Yeah?
Yeah, I might.
It's a good time.
I might or might not have shown up there once.
and then Germany in March, which is exciting because I've never been overseas for shows.
That's incredible.
So,
and that's where you really want to go is overseas, take your show overseas.
I would love to just go. I mean, if this can take me all over the world, why not? Let's do it.
I love your attitude. I mean, for those of you that are listening to today's episode, I think it's very clear to see that Sean has an unapologetic attitude and he's just living life to his fullest. And today's challenge is to really think about that one thing that you want to do and just do it. Nobody cares. Just take the plunge and do it. I mean, if you want to wear gator shoes or snakeskin shoes, wear them. It doesn't matter. Anything that you want to do, you can do, and stop worrying about what other people think about you. That's my challenge to you. And of course, you guys know the deal. If you like today's material, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, or even unsubscribe if you don't like it. It's okay. But until next time, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.